All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mr. Madrid Show. It's been a little while since we last spoken. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Today we have a special guest. He goes by the name of Mike Nafield. In the real estate world, he's known as Iron Mike. He's actually an individual who helped us not only sell our previous house, but also purchase this new one that we're in now. So he's a big part of the family in that sense. He brings a lot of good vibes here, and just want to say welcome on to the Mr. Madrid Show, Mike.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. It's a pleasure to be here. I really appreciate that intro. That was a good intro.
Yeah,
like
man.
Like
Yeah.
Thank you. Yo.
So we're gonna get started with this podcast, and I just want to kind of set the tone for the viewers, right? You are a realtor, so right now that's primarily like your main thing right now.
Bread and butter.
And to get straight to it, like one of the main things I wanted to get from you is like you're 23.
I'm 24 now.
24.
Yeah.
So 24 years old. Let's get straight to it. I know a lot of people want to get into real estate, and you've been in real estate now for
About a year and a half. A year and some
Almost 2
change.
okay.
Yeah.
And then tell the folks what organization you're a part of.
All right. So I am a local realtor. I sell real estate all over Central Florida, but I also I work for Optimal One Realty. That's my brokerage. Uncle Tony, who I call, he's not biologically my uncle, but like as because me and Jalen, we've been friends for so long, and I always knew him. Uncle Tony always been like that, that uncle to me. You know what I mean? Even before I knew he was a broker / owner of my brokerage. So he's the owner and broker of Optimal One Realty. And that's he's my mentor. He shows me everything, shows me the ropes. Really, you know what I mean? The one that got me to where I'm at. You know what I mean? Gotcha. That's where I get all my knowledge from. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And just to set the tone too, it's a cool story because I used to live in the same community as Tony back in the day, somewhere in Groveland, and I was running my pressure washing and window cleaning business. Never knew of him, and he actually referred somebody over to me to get their house washed.
Right.
And I always like had that respect for him because I'm like, when the customer called me, they were like, "Hey, Tony recommended me to you. He said that I should get my house washed and all this stuff." And I was like, "Wow, like that's pretty dope." Like he doesn't know me, so to have that kind of heart to put somebody else on to gain some business with nothing attached to it was pretty awesome. So I always had him in the back of my mind, like, he's in real estate. I just didn't know how deep in real estate he was until I uncovered it. And I'm so glad that I got you guys involved in the whole selling of the home and the home buying process. And you guys made it super easy for us. Like the level of professionalism that you guys and the way you guys carried yourselves was amazing. And me and the wife were that couple that wanted to go everywhere. We wanted to look at every house, every new build. And
I remember that. Yeah.
As soon as we met Mike, I don't think he knew what he was up for, but I don't think we were that bad, but everybody says that.
No, man, I enjoyed it, bro. The whole journey.
Yeah, man. But your level of professionalism, and the brand that you guys represent was amazing. It was top notch. And, to be fair, like we've dealt with other realtors in the past, but dealing with you guys, it just felt right. The vibe was right. Everything was smooth. Even, I had Tony Stanley on the podcast almost about a year ago. And back then I had no intention of selling my house, anything. Like I may have had a conversation with a realtor previous to that, before that. And it didn't go nowhere. I didn't want to deal with that lady. Like, it wasn't a good, it just didn't feel organic.
It was a vibe check.
Yeah, it was a vibe check moment. Yep. And, when I got Tony on the pod, he was so giving as far as information. And that's one of the main topics of this podcast is like being able to be a plug of information for people.
Right.
And one of the things that attracted me to inviting you on the pod, not only being biased because you were part of the process, but also just the vibe once again, and then how like just everything that you guys brought to the table, from the beginning all the way to the end, and then your level of professionalism, how you were willing to help us out, how you were willing to take my wife's calls at any time of the day.
Yeah. I said, hey, call me whenever you need me. Call me. I have to be up at 3 a.m., but if you need me, like, call me.
See, that's amazing. And just to see, like, you at 24 years old, like, and not to go into veer off to this conversation, but like people always talk about your generation and the way it's different. So it's super awesome to see you at 24 years old being such a go-getter about your business and being responsible and professional. Talk a little bit about that. Like, what makes you get up at 3 a.m. every day?
Oh man, off rip, I can just tell you, bro. It's my mom, bro. My mom had 5 kids. My oldest sister had a baby, and my oldest sister had a baby at like 15, 16 years old, right? So technically, my mom had 6 kids.
Okay.
And she's a single mom. And even in the process of going, like raising 6 kids, trying to keep a roof over their head, clothes on their back, food on the table, she also went back to school to get her like a bachelor's degree. So watching my mama like grind the way she grind, like that was something that made me like, okay, I don't owe my mom because it was her decision to, have all these babies and stuff like that. But I applaud her, and I feel like deep in my soul, like I do owe her, you know what I mean? In a sense. So that's where I get all of my, that's where I get my fuel from. You know what I mean? Every time I see my mama's face, I'm a mama's boy at heart. You know what I mean? So to see her finally be able to be like, okay, I can rest now.
Yeah, it's dope.
You know what I mean? Just to see, like, I dream about that, bro. I told my mama whenever I was probably about 17 years old, 18 years old. I said, Mama, one day you gonna come home, you gonna go to lay your head down on your pillow, and then you gonna find out there's like a whole lot of cash in it. You know what I mean? Like, man, that lady right there, I've seen her like go through, like making $8.75 an hour, bro, taking care of 6 kids. And I asked her, I'm like, Mom, how did you do it? You know what I mean? She told me the other day, this was probably about a month ago. She said she was digging through her old stuff and like she found one of her old pay stubs. And it was like $300. I'm like, what? How did you be able to take care of all these kids? And she doesn't know. She was like, she did have help from other people, you know what I mean? We never had like welfare. We had food stamps, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But like, she just like,
she made it happen.
She made it happen, bro. And I also want to say a shout out to Dee Dee. We call her Dee Dee. Her name's Miss Doreen. She's not my grandma, but she treated us as if she was our grandma. And my mom worked at a daycare, so she'll like let us literally go to daycare for free there and like take care of us. She used to give us money every Thursday, $2. She'd give us $2 every Thursday. I wish I saved them $2. I wish I saved them $2, man. But Dee Dee helped us out a lot too, man. I used to stay at her house. It'll be times where I had to stay at her house. Some of those times where we stayed at the motel. We lived all over Lake County, you know what I mean? So like just seeing us go from city to city, town to town, and I was like, man, this is not how it's supposed to be, you know? So that's what really pushed me.
Dope.
My mom,
That's
bro.
dope.
My mom.
That's dope. It's tough to be a kid growing up in a situation where you're bouncing around. Not to get into my stuff too much because I want to, get into what you do, but it's normal. Like when you're in the situation, whatever is going on, it just becomes the norm. And then the best example I can give, from New York City, Washington Heights. Long story short, me and the wife had just parked the car, walked into the building where we live at. Fight broke out.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's tough over there too, bro.
Instead of crossing the street like anybody who's not from around there would, I was walking with the stroller, my wife next to me. I just walked around the fight.
Yeah.
And kept going about my business.
Like it ain't.
But before that, my wife was like, babe, let's cross the street. Like, this is... I'm like, nah, just go around, go into my building, mind my business. It took me a while to realize that that's not the normal for her, the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the norm for my kid.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, you know what I'm saying? Like, now you recognize the struggles and stuff like that your mom had to go through, sleeping in motels, like you said, and, you know, these little angels here and there that would look out for you when they didn't need to.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, bro. And if it doesn't, like, at one point or other, maybe it makes you who you are. It makes you a go-getter.
1,000%.
You know what I'm saying?
1,000%.
So, like, and I see what's dope about you, Mike, and I know we've had conversations, is the aura that you bring around, your presentation. Like, I'm big on posture. Mike has like amazing posture. But the reason I say is because like my whole family were hunched. So like all my life, people are like, yes, stand up straight, stand up straight. So I'm always looking at people's posture, and I'm always like trying to make sure I stay, you know, because your posture says a lot about you. But like I said, like, so you grew up around Tony, right, as far as real estate. But even before that, like, you know, you had some family challenges and stuff like that. Like, what was your upbringing like that led you to fall into real estate?
So this goes back to I want to say 10th grade. I went to a public school my 9th grade year, and then from my 9th grade year, you know, Pastor Tony, he was a pastor in my city, Hope Academy, Hope International was his church, and he was opening up a school called Hope Preparatory Academy. So he's like, come to me after practice. He's like, hey, Mike, I want you guys to come over to my school, you and your brothers. You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll talk to my mom about it. And when I talked to my mom, she said, yeah, sure, why not? And once I got there, my 10th grade year, there was this lady, Miss Wait. She gonna see this too. Man, she'll come up to me and she'll be like, hey, Mike, because I don't know, it was people always seen something in me that I couldn't see in myself. And she used to always come to me and she'll be like, Mike, you should jump into real estate, Mike. You should do real estate. And she used to always be in my ear about this. I'm young. I want to have fun. I want to, you know, see girls and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I wasn't worried about no real estate. And she came to me one day with this book, and it was the classic Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And she told me to read it. I read probably like a page out of it, and then I gave it back to her like the next week. And from there, like, you know, life went on. I graduated high school, went to college, left college, and me and Jalen, we actually started living with each other because Jalen's girlfriend and my girlfriend were sisters, and we like lived together and stuff like that. I lived with Jalen before that anyways, but that's another story for later.
Real quick, who's Jalen so people know?
Oh, so Jalen is, you know, my brother. That's my brother from another mother. Like,
boy, your man's in them.
Yep. And he's also another realtor. He's Uncle Tony's actual biological uncle and God's son. So that's really how we all connected. And whenever me and Jalen started living together, I was like scrolling because I'm trying to figure out, man, what? I need to do something, bro. I used to work, me and Jalen worked at Chick-fil-A together. We worked in the warehouse together. And then, you know, we're still working at the warehouse. And I'm like, bro, what? We got to do something, bro. I'm like, I got to do something.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, let's get into real estate. You know what I mean? I'm like, real estate? Why would I? You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, you know, Uncle Tony's a realtor. And I'm like, what? And then he said he's a broker. I'm like, what is a broker? I didn't know what a broker was.
And what is a broker?
So a broker is somebody who's higher than a sales associate. So I'm a sales associate, and Tony is a broker, so he got more classifications and like qualifications under, you know, being a broker. Now, a broker, you can be a broker but not be a owner. You know what I mean? You just have more. I wouldn't necessarily say knowledge. You just got more like credit under your name, basically. You feel me? So he got like that broker title and the owner title. You know what I mean?
Got it.
And
to be a broker, you have to be a realtor for a couple years, though, right? To
yeah,
earn that title.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 or 4 years. I think it's 2 years. You just have to, you know, be
Like,
an actual sales associate for 2 years, and then you can study for your broker's license.
Got
and
it.
then you'll be known as a broker's associate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, you know, a broker, I guess, if you own it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I ain't get too deep into that yet. And so within that story, I was scrolling on my feed, right? One day in the bed with my lady, and that book came across my feed, and I'm like, oh shoot, this book looks familiar.
Yeah.
And it was The Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then I was like, oh shoot, Miss Wade told me to read this, and it was about real estate and stuff. So I ordered it, right? And then I read that book in like a week, bro. And
yeah, it's an awesome book.
it is, bro. It's a classic. From there, it went to Cash Flow Quadrant, and then after that, I just started ordering books, bro. Just like reading books. I'm like a book fanatic now. Like, that's all I do is like read books if I have time. But you know, we always have time. So that's really how it started, bro. And then we got into it, and Uncle Tony basically took us under his wing and started teaching us. You know, what I mean, mentoring us. I mean, the day after we passed our real estate exam, the state exam, we went out the next day and he started making videos and stuff. He's like, this is how you guys got to do it. This is how you guys got to approach it. This is how you guys got to, you know what I mean? This, like, I remember it was a vacant lot, and we were like the brokerage. So whenever a real estate agent owns a listing, it's technically the broker's listing. So like if that realtor was to like quit or leave the brokerage, they can't leave with that listing. That listing stays at the brokerage.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Whether they went and got the listing, it was their seller or whatever, you know what I mean? It belongs to the brokerage. So the land we were at, it was actually another agent's, and Uncle Tony's like, we're going to go make a video on it because we can do that type of stuff. We can, you know what I mean? It's free advertisement. You know what I mean, basically. And we went and did that, and we did our first video, and I'm over there shaking in front of the camera, bro. I'm like, I was not comfortable, bro, because it was different for me. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? It's a grind right now, and I actually enjoy making the videos now. That was my first video ever. I mean, Jalen even in there like, bro, we go back and look at it, bro. We're like, bro, why were we like, you know what I mean, so tense and stuff?
Yeah, because it's new.
I'm over here shaking my hands and
You know what's dope? The vibe that I got from that was almost like Tony was waiting for you guys to say the word. And almost like I was waiting for you guys to get into this because I have a whole game plan for you guys. You guys, I also see, and once again, like you guys, and to give you a little background story on how exactly my whole ordeal happened, it wasn't an easy process, but you know, big on God. We're both actually very big on God, and just the way everything happened and the reason, like we bought our first home in Deltona, right? And then we have family where we're at now, which is the west side of Central Florida. And it would take us like an hour and a half to get over here all the time. And then my wife's father, he's not doing too well health-wise.
Right.
So my wife found herself in a spot that she's like, I want to be closer to my dad. And she's like, I'd like to move out there. Now, mind you, I'm like an old man. I'm set in my house. My house has everything in it. Like, we've put 3-4 years of work into it.
Right.
You know, the cave, like man cave in the garage, the whole shebang. And, you know.
That was a nice crib, too.
Yeah, I loved it, man. Yeah. So we prayed about it. Long story short, called Tony. You guys got involved. Let him know the whole thing, what we're trying to do. We go looking around for houses. So we put my house on the market. And then 2 weeks later, right? You know it better
Bro,
than I did.
15 days, bro. We
15
sold your home in 15 days.
15
and
days.
This home, so we seen 3 homes in this neighborhood, right? In this community. And you guys are so stuck on this home. And it was ran down.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm so amazed with all the upgrades you guys done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So 15 days we sold, and we had to come to the listing agent. We were like, look, there's going to be a contingency on their home selling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they, bro, the listing agent, you know, some agents aren't team players, but this guy, for a minute, he wasn't a team player, but then he's like, all right, well, you know what I mean? Let's see how long this could go. You know what I mean? So 15 days, and we all made it like all in one closing too, bro.
Yep. That was the cool thing. So a little bit more about that is, so we were visiting my wife's brother, and my wife's mom lives in the same neighborhood. So my brother-in-law was like, yo, check this house out. So it was the same model, just a little bit more up the road. And I was like, oh, it's nice. I'm usually a very optimistic person, but when it comes to like the home buying process, bro, I'm like, oh, there's so many things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
That I was just like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. Like, they already messed up and sold me a house the first time. They're not gonna do it again. So I was like, whatever, let me send the picture to my wife. So I sent her the link, and it was to this house, which was a mistake. I meant to send it to the one up the block. And from the moment she saw it, she was like, that's my house. And mind you, Mike took us to different neighborhoods, Davenport.
It was new construction at first.
New constructions. It was Davenport.
And we were still, it was still between like Kissimmee and like Davenport area.
So it was different areas there. And I wasn't feeling the people that were there. That's when me and Mike really like were eye to eye, where I was just like, I don't like this dude's vibe. So from then on, Mike was like, vibe check.
Vibe check. I'm
just
like,
to
bro.
see, he's like, what's the vibe like? What's the
Every
vibe?
time we'll meet somebody new, I'll be like, bro, vibe check, bro.
Yeah, because I'm like, if anybody out there knows me personally, I'm big on vibes. And, you know, they always say don't judge a book by its front cover, but I do. And, you know, it's up to you. Like,
well, technically, you didn't judge them, you know, like off of first appearance. You would judge them off of the way they.
Correct.
You know,
so I got to read a couple pages and then I'll let you.
Yeah.
I'm a first chapter kind of guy. After the first chapter, I already can dismiss you. Perfect. Thanks, Mike. I'm using this for the rest of my life. I'm not a front cover guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm a read the first chapter kind of guy.
Yeah, because when you guys first saw me, like the first time I was nervous because only reason I was nervous because I was like kind of fresh in real estate a little bit. Yeah. But I knew what I looked like. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got a real estate agent that's coming up to you with neck tattoos, and you're like, "Oh, you're the agent." You know?
Yeah.
You're not the pizza man. You're the agent.
Didn't even care about that. I'm like, Tony sent you. You straight.
Yeah. So that's how I knew it wasn't like first appearance.
That's kind of the concept of the way I view everything in life. Is like you don't have to know everything right now.
Yep.
It's just take the leap of faith and figure it out as you go.
Yep.
Same thing with podcasting, where it's like I don't know everything about podcasting, and I'm not saying I do. Now I know a lot about it. Right. You know what I mean? But when I first started, I didn't know much of anything. And
I want to piggyback off of that because there was a time where I would be in the office, right? And I'm just in the office just trying to learn stuff. I'm trying to dibble dabble in everything. I'm trying to know the laws. I'm trying to basically stay out of as much trouble as possible in real estate so that, you know, I could, you know, be the greatest at it. And there's this guy, Bo Griffin. He's a realtor in my office. And he'll come to me. He'll get on my ass, man. Like, big old country dude. He'll be like, man, Mike, what the hell you doing? You know? And I'll be like, what you mean? I'm just like, I'm trying to learn this shit before I get out there. He's like, no, you got to get out there. And then, you know what I mean? You got to learn from the experience.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Go mess some stuff up. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're going to learn from it. It's called analysis of the paralysis. Analysis of the paralysis. Because you're just sitting there trying to learn everything, but your real estate changes every day. So you're not going to learn everything just sitting there every day. You got to get out there, meet people, 100%. Talk to people. You know what I mean?
Like if you guys take anything away, and I always say this in every podcast, if there's anything to take away from this podcast, use Mike as an example, use me as an example, is like, stop waiting for you to figure something out to make a move.
1000%.
Make the move and figure it out as you go along. Because even when you do all the motherfucking this is when I start getting ghetto. When you start doing all the motherfucking research, you can still fuck up.
You're
man.
still gonna mess up,
and
bro.
that's part of the journey. That's part of the process. That's what you're gonna remember and love about your story. Is, damn, dog, you remember when this happened and this, that, and the thing.
And
Like,
I shook back.
yes.
It's not failure, it's feedback.
Yep.
Every time.
And I compare it to this. So both my kids, I taught them both how to ride their bicycle. Emma was a champ. When I tell you, she would fall off the bike, get back up, fall, and hit the pedal with her leg, and like you scratched up. She was crying, but like just holding it, and she got it. And I got this on video. And I'm like, baby, I'm proud of you. I said that is gonna be the rest of your life. And you see the feeling of like triumph that you have.
Yes.
That's what we're fighting for.
Yep.
And hopefully not everything involves some growing pains, but don't be afraid of those growing pains. Don't be afraid to fall off and get back up.
Yeah.
Or even people making fun of you or judging what you're doing. Like, that's why, Mike, and I'm sure you've seen it before, I have that thing, fuck with yourself heavy. Because you have to believe in yourself when nobody else does.
Yep.
You have to pick yourself up when nobody else is around to pick you up.
But that's how it was whenever I first started doing real estate. I didn't want to put my videos out there because I didn't want my friends to think, oh, this guy goofy. Oh, Mike a realtor. No, he a little goofy. You know what I mean? Like, I got to the point where it's like, I don't even care what I post. You know what I mean? Yeah. If somebody tell me don't post it, I'm going to post it. Because that means it's possibly something good that comes out of it. You know 100%. What I mean? So, like, I don't even care about what I look like now. You know what I mean?
You'll get those affirmations about what you're posting. And just specifically to speak on that. So, like, a lot of times, like and even now, Mike, where, like, I'll post things, and I'm like, damn, should I keep that up? Yeah. Like, every now and then I'll bring something down because I'm just like, I get into my own head. I'm human.
Yep.
But it's those moments where I have random people come up to me. They're like, yo, you a funny dude. And mind you, I'm not a comedian, but they're like, you be having me cracking up with your videos.
Bro.
You see what I'm saying? They're like, you be having me cracking up, or like, yo, I saw this new camera that you bought, or I saw your podcast. Yeah. There was one person that was like, hey, I watched the podcast that you had like a pastor on, and this is my homegirl that I went to high school with, who's completely changed her life. Shout out to Vivian O'Neill. And she's like, the person who was talking to me about that podcast was like, she was blown away by the things that Vivian was talking about. Yeah. Same thing when I had Tony on the podcast. People were talking about, like, they didn't know too much about the effects of Airbnb. Tony spoke on that. So it's just like, that's why you just got to run with what you want to run with. Yeah. Because you just never know who you're going to affect. Yeah. And at the end of the day, if you don't, then you put it out and you got that off of your chest.
And, bro, like, that's the thing, bro. It's always going to be the people that don't know you are going to be your biggest supporters, bro. Facts. You feel me, bro? Like, I've been looking for so long, bro, for somebody who has the same mindset as me. And I know that it's somebody that I don't know. You know what I mean? I need to connect with somebody who I don't know who has the same mindset as me, because you can ask every single one of my homeboys, one of my friends, every time I come around them, we're going to talk a little bit of crap, to talk, homeboy stuff. Yeah. But, like, they know that whenever Mike come around, Mike is going to get emotional about business. What are we doing for goals? You know what I mean? I'm always asking my homeboys, like, bro, what you doing? I mean, what, you working on something right now, bro? You know what I mean? Like, one of my homeboys, he want to open up a Subway. I'm like, all right, what are you doing to work on that right now? Yeah. You know what I mean? And I kind of gave him the game plan. I'm like, what I would do, I would start asking people that who own Subways, try to find some way to get in contact with those people and try to, like, figure out how do they do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't want to, say all of my homeboys don't want to talk about that, but they know that I'm the guy that whenever I come around, I'm always going to want to talk about business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though I shouldn't, because I mentioned to you, in our past conversations that, wherever you're at, you should be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you talking about elevating, because you probably see the potential in your homeboys.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're at in life.
Yeah.
But just based on what you're saying, that you're bringing stuff up to elevate.
Yeah. But
so it's not so much that you want to,
Yeah, type of deal. But I feel like the people that I need to be around are the people who are, on the same mindset as me. Like whenever they come around, they're gonna ask me like, Mike, what's up with business?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, what you doing with business? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got this project that I'm working on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just love to talk about that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel 1,000%.
And I feel like it's a stranger that I gotta run into, or somebody I gotta become friends with now that is gonna be that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel.
What's dope too is that you have such a powerful resource with Tony, because he's already on a real estate level that's so far ahead, and he can offer so much game.
Yeah.
But I also get it because, and there's no shade on anybody in the circle, but sometimes you want interaction with almost like somebody you grew up with, and then you could tell like, yo, I got this going on. Tell me what you got going. Like, and you want to kind of piggyback and inspire each other.
And it's not bragging.
No,
it's not bragging.
Yo, and it's funny you talk about that because the last time me and you spoke, I forgot what it was. We were showing you around the house, and the wife was like, yeah, when we got back from the Bahamas, we had the what was it called? The contractors, they had finished up. So we moved right in. And I was like, damn, that sounds so braggadocious.
But it wasn't, though.
But
bro.
It wasn't. That's real life. Like,
you know what I mean?
We were fortunate enough, by the grace of God, that we were able to be in a position. And see, the thing is, people don't see the background story. Mm-hmm. So you were part of it.
Yeah.
You saw the stress of selling the house, buying the house, closing. We were dealing with a out of the country seller.
Yep.
Who wasn't really being communicative. Is the right wording? Mm-hmm. And
yeah, he was like somewhere in Spain or something like that.
It was something crazy. Something crazy. I was like the whole time.
We cannot get a response from this dude. We're like,
it was the most difficult thing in the world, man.
Yeah.
And I was stressed the whole time.
Yeah, you were, bro.
It was stressful. It was super stressful, but it was dope. Again, the professionalism and the way you guys stayed on top of everything. Tony wasn't playing no games when it came to it. Even like, and I'll bring this up because I thought it was so dope. There was one day that we randomly wanted to come here to do some measurements, and Mike, I think you were off. You were headed out somewhere to the beach.
Yeah, vacation type.
A little vacation thing, a little party, and so Mike was already like he already had plans. So we didn't know this. So we called Mike. I'm like, Mike, we want to go to the house to take some measurements. The wife is, whatever. And he's like, okay, all right, let me figure something out. You call me back, like, yeah, I can meet you. So after that, I'm heading over to like Tampa somewhere.
Yeah, man, it was like 2 hours away.
You were like, and mind you, he's coming from above Kissimmee, from Claremont area down
like an hour here.
Yeah, it was bananas. So that's like top-notch service. That's why when I see you guys post something, I always say top-notch.
Yeah.
Because like you guys made us feel like we were the most important customers in the world. And we may have been the ones that bringing in the least, but it's still how you treat a customer. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that. Like there wasn't a moment that went by where we just felt brushed off. You know what I mean? Like we always appreciate that. And then, so tell us a little bit more. So how is it being in real estate? So I know I've even thought about being in real estate years ago, but there's always that like conversation where it's like, oh, it's overpopulated.
It is.
That's number one. Yeah. Number two is like, oh, you can't do that full time, or you're not gonna be successful. All hearsay, right? Like people don't really know until they get involved in it. So, what's your experience being a realtor at 24 years old? Talk to us. What is it like being a realtor? It's
a lot of realtors, whenever they first get into real estate, they think, oh, I'm finna be rich. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? No, it's definitely a grind. You know what I mean? You got to get out there, get into that nitty gritty. Like you got to balls to the wall. Like you real deal gotta put in the work. You know what I mean? And me and Uncle Tony was talking about this a couple nights ago, and you know he said there's a lot of realtors who expect like instant gratitude. You know what I mean? Like gratitude. Like nah, dude, you gotta put in that work, and then it's gonna come. I've learned in real estate that it's not always about the close. They call it commission breath. You don't want to have commission breath. Like once you really like care for people and understand that this is the biggest investment one of the biggest investments you're ever gonna make in your life, then you value that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why we treated you guys the way we treated you guys, because it wasn't just about the clothes. It wasn't just about selling your house and getting paid after. Yeah. I mean, we all get paid. I mean, it's a job, you know. You work a job and you expect to get paid, right? But we're dealing with people. You know what I mean? We're humans. So I always got a big heart, and that's why I was always willing to, you know, help you guys out, because I know how excited you guys were, and I knew how stressful it was at the same time. But I knew that, like, I was always going to put, like, my buyer or my seller before me, you know what I mean? Because I value them and what they want to do. Bro, just to see people, like, get so happy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just to put a smile on people's face, I'm all for it, bro.
Yeah, man.
And I realized that in real estate.
Yeah, we were sending you guys pictures even weeks after. We're like, look what we did. Look what we did. It was such an exciting moment, and 100% it is, man. And I think it's very important for realtors to view it that way.
And y'all gave me a card at closing, right? And I read it, bro. And like that's the shit I live for, bro. Like that card, I still got it. I still got the card right there on my not on my nightstand, but like on one of my dressers in my room, because like it means so much to me to know that, like, dang, I played a big part in these people's lives.
Oh, you
know
did,
what I mean?
man. Like I said, that day you were supposed to be out on the beach early on, and I missed that part, and I apologize. Like, you came all the way here just so we can take some measurements when you already had a whole weekend planned.
Yeah.
And then me and the wife were expecting Mike to come through in trunks and like flip flops and you know what I mean, like tank top. Mike shows up all dressed up, like collar, shirt, tucked in, shoes, the whole night. Shoes matching the belt. Yeah. Mike stays fly even when he's dressed up for work. So just
Come on, man.
Vibe check, and then there's fit check. So, and that was dope, man. Like, we appreciated that so much, and it was something so simple for us, but like something that we took into account. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, if ever we decide to, you know, and we brag about you guys. That's another thing too. Like, we brag about you guys. Everybody has a realtor. They're like, oh, you know, you can deal with my realtor. I'm like, nah, bro, your realtor ain't as real as mine.
Yeah, the lineage group, man.
Yeah. So break that down too. So you guys are Optima Realty, right? And then what's the lineage group? What's that? Talk to me.
So lineage group was something that, so essentially how this whole group happened was, me and Jalen was in real estate, you know what I mean, months and months after, you know, we got our license, and Uncle Tony seen the hardships that we had. I'm talking about, bro, we were getting like, we were going on FISBO. FISBOs are for sale by owners. We'll call it FISBOs, set up FISBOs. I mean, I'll be getting off work, doing my real estate thing, and then going home and calling FISBOs all night, trying to set up an appointment just so that I could get in the door to talk to some of these sellers and stuff like that. I was cold calling, bro.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I mean, it's been times where I'll go meet a seller like 2-3 times and they'll get another realtor, you know what I mean, on me, bro. Like, there's been people that I'll be close with, you know what I mean, and they'll get a realtor. Your own cousin would your own cousin would get another, and I don't blame that because, you know, I have been in real estate not that long, so I'm like, you know, it's cool, I understand. That's why, like, I'm getting all the knowledge and going through the failures and stuff like that, so I learn, you know what I mean. But I've learned that, like, once Uncle Tony seen that we were going through all these hardships, he was like, you know what, hey, I got an offer for you guys, meet me at the bar. after you guys done in the office. So once we were done in the office and we went to the bar, he said, so yeah, I want to start up this group. Let's call it, Lineage. It was like, we'll like think about names and stuff. And it was like Lineage Group. Okay, all right, cool. Let's do Lineage Group. You know what I mean? And we came up with like a contract within the group on how we're going to do things. And it's Lineage because we're like family. You know what I mean? And like you got the Godfather, and it's like the Godfather and his assassins. You know what I mean? Because we had the looks, he had the brains. no pun intended. Like, I love it, but that's how it was. And
so you guys have an agreement amongst each other. That's something that works just for your group there.
Yeah.
And it's tightly knit because you guys are family.
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
So essentially what it is, the guy who gets the buyer or the seller basically gets most of the commission, and the other two will basically get the lowest amount of commission.
Yeah.
And that's just so that it could fuel each other in the group. Like, oh, I got
you stay busy, yeah, because
you know what I mean.
3 versus 1, it's a big difference.
You know what I mean? So it fueled us to make us like, okay, we got to get out here and get some more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like he did that just because he like seen the hardships that we went through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, bro, we was getting turned down. I couldn't even count how many times where I had to travel. I'm talking about wasting gas and just grinding, bro. Late nights, I'm talking about in the office all day, getting off from my type of 9 to 5, and then going to the office and just grinding. And it's like, it makes you rub your forehead, bro.
And that's another thing about hard work and dedication. Like, you're getting up at 3 a.m. to be at work at whatever time you're at. You finish that shift, and then you're in the office. Yeah. Because I remember the day of closing when we went out there. Mm-hmm. You guys weren't there, and it wasn't because you were home sleeping. You guys were working. So, like, I remember when I was like, where's Mike? Where's Jalen? Like, oh, they're working. I'm like, oh, okay, they're showing another house or something. They're like, no.
They're working.
Yeah, they're working. Yeah. Like, they're in the grind right now, like the real grind of building a real estate portfolio that then you can kind of move away from the other gig and just do this.
Exactly. And that, bro, like, I say this all the time to Jalen because I see him every day at work. And I tell him, like, bro, this is just preparing us. Like, we're up at 3 a.m. every morning, right? Imagine when we just got to get up at 5 a.m.
It's going to be nothing to you guys.
You know what I mean? Then we can just do real estate, you know what I mean? Just grind it out. I'm like, bro, God is literally molding us into who we need to be. And there'll be times at work where me and Jalen will both be pissed off because we're like, bro, we can be doing real estate right now. You know what I mean? We could be doing this and that and the other. And it'll piss us off because we're like, this is not where we're supposed to be at. Bro, there was one time where I was going through a breakup at the time too. And I'm in the warehouse and I'm on the phone with my mom, bro. And I just broke down. You know what I mean? I just broke down because it's like I was talking to my mom and I'm like, Mom, I'm not supposed to be here right now. Like, this is not what God intended, where he intended me to be. And then my mom's like, maybe he's where he wants you to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just to show you, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta put in that work. I mean, I've grinded. I feel like I've grinded my whole life. You know what I mean? And I haven't lived for that long, 2 decades and some change. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, I feel like I've really grinded my whole life. There was times where I was 15 years old and I would get off work from Chick-fil-A and I had to walk like 8 miles home at 10 o'clock at night and then had to wake up for school at 7 a.m. You know what I mean? I had to do stuff like that, bro. And it's like God is literally grinding me and showing me like, Mike, if you want to be that businessman that you want to be, then this type of like work is going to be, applicating to whatever it is you're trying to do. Like, you're going to have nights where you're going to get home late and you got to wake up early. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just feel like he's literally molding me, bro, into the man that I need to be. Yeah. But there's disciplines that I got to take care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's admirable, like to see that, to see like you doing both things because you have a vision of what you want to get to.
Yeah.
And in the hood they call it eating shit. You're not eating shit.
Mm-hmm.
You're building up not only tough skin, but you're building up your story.
Yeah.
You have to go through the mud. You know what I mean? Like to really, it's almost like God wants you to really appreciate where you're going. But if you're just given something, then the entitlement kicks in.
Yeah, bro.
And I think I shared this with you, and to like run through the story real quick. Like when we got to Florida almost 7 years ago, I never realized how tough things were for us. We were in a 2-bedroom apartment somewhere in Winter Park. To me, the community was amazing. We look at it now, and it's like it was a little rough.
Yeah.
But compared to where we were in New York City, this was amazing. There was 2-3 pools in the community. I'm like, shit, we made it. But we go now, and it's like it's a rough neighborhood. But for us, it was. I was the only one working, and I remember telling my wife like years later, like we didn't have it that bad, right? Like it was all right. She's like, nah,
Do you not know
bad.
what I had to do?
So I'm like, what you mean? So she's like, we were so broke. She was like, we had like $20-$30 left, and she would go and make a payment on a credit card that was maxed out, so she could have $30. So she called the bank. She's like, I just made a payment. Is it available? And for some reason, one of the cards were right away. As soon as she makes the payment, it was available. She would run over to Walmart, pick up $30 of groceries. Now, 6-7 years ago in Florida, before this inflation got out of hand,
crazy.
you could get some things for a couple days with $30. So
ramen noodles.
we were good. We were good. And I'm like, damn, the struggle was real. So I just felt like we were never gonna buy a home. We were never like, I'm like, God, why we came down here? Like this is. I started questioning it, and then you have to put the effort. And I may be wrong, but like I'm right to me, bro. Like you have to prove to God that you're worthy of the blessings that He's gonna put on you. And like for me, it was like, all right, I'm gonna keep hustling. Like I can't complain. Like I was like, all right, babe, this is what I'm gonna do. After I get out of work, I'm gonna go Uber. So I used to leave the office at 5:00, probably go pick up a sandwich, hit the road. There was days I was only making like $10. Call the wife, I'm like, I want to give up, and she's like, I'll stay on the phone till you get your next passenger. You know what I mean? Like, dang, so that's my rock. Like when I say like
the batteries in your back, bro.
Yeah, she is the battery.
Oh
She constantly like pushing me, like, and she's. I just, like with your story of like what you're going through now, and just I'm excited for you, Mike.
I appreciate
to just see you 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, and see what you do with what you got, and. I'd be lying to you if I tell you to be patient, like feel how you want to feel. Right. Just go through those motions, be pissed off at work, but just stay in the grind, bro.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing I could tell you is that you'll come up out of there, right? And again, like I didn't think we spoke last time, like, and I love this that I see on social media all the time where they're like, don't act like you have to go to work, like you have to spend time with your kids, like we get to do things.
Yeah.
And that's the most powerful thing in the world. And I think if we start viewing things like that, you'll start cherishing life a little bit more.
Life is like, I do believe that a man can get there on his own, right? You know what I mean? He can build up all the anger and all that pain that he got and just carry it and just roll with it. Yeah. But like, when you got that female that put that batteries in your back, bro, like I mentioned to you before, whenever God created, Adam and Eve, He created Adam first, right? The man, first man. But then He created Eve after, right? And He didn't create Eve to say, oh, I'm going to make you happy with this woman. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm going to create, He didn't say it, but like, I'm going to create this woman to help you, you know what I mean? To be the batteries in your back, you know what I mean? It's us, man, who has to have the leadership to, you know what I mean, lead his woman. Yep. That's why whenever they ate from the tree of life and God came into the garden and they were hiding from God. God came into the garden. He said, Adam. You know what I mean? He called for Adam's name. And
he didn't call her.
He didn't call Eve. You know what I mean? Because Adam is the leader. He's supposed to be looking out for the woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's men like Adam that'll say, it's the woman that you gave me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for so long, I've blamed other people. I blame my lifestyle. I blame the way I grew up. I blame the government. I blamed all these people but myself. You know what I mean? I had this long list of everybody that I blamed and everything that I blamed. And the only thing that was wrong with my list was my name wasn't on it.
Bars. Bars.
My name wasn't on it, bro. So I've learned to like take full responsibility for everything.
You have to.
Everything that goes on in my life, bro.
If you come outside, and this is probably a bad analogy. I'm not good at them anymore like I used to be. But like if you trip because there's a rock in front of your doorstep, and every day you come out and you trip over that same rock, like is this somebody else's fault or is it your fault for not walking around the rock or picking up the rock? And then this analogy is actually pretty good because if you leave the rock there, you have a family. Now your family's bumping into the rock.
Yeah.
Now whose fault? That's like generational curses. Like,
yes.
You know,
my gosh, that's a bar.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just, it's horrible, man. Like, and that's what it is. Accountability. Like, go ahead,
bro. But like, even the fact of knowing, like, you went outside. You know what I mean? Like, it's little stuff like that that matters. Like, you went outside. You wanted to go outside today. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even if it was the first day and you tripped over that rock. You know what I mean?
I tell you, like, that's the bad thing about individuals out there that don't take accountability for their own life. Like, I'm passionate about that because, like, you can't, like, I love this. There's something I saw on social media that said, like, when you're born and you're born into, like, a messed up situation, that's on your mom. That's on your dad. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But if you 35 still talking about the same shit, that's on you, playboy.
All right.
That's on you. Like, I have no sympathy, empathy, all the thieves for anybody that like blames their surroundings, blames not having, like, I have none of that for them because it's like,
it's you.
I grew up with a mom who was as loving as she could be. It wasn't a perfect world, but it was what it was. It was my norm. My dad wasn't around. I had a brother that wasn't really around, and just rough relationships with different people around me. And that's why I love the innocence in a child. Like my both my kids, like that's something I preserve and I'll give my life for is their innocence. Yeah. Because it's the most beautiful thing in the world, bro. Like to see that innocence, preserve it, and just allow them to be. And that's something that I feel like that innocence is what allowed me to grow because I wasn't too concerned with the outside noise. I was in my own world. I didn't grow up with a sibling. Right. So my whole world was, I would play with my own toys by myself and I would make up characters and all this. So I've always been this individual where like I create my own little world, my podcast. There's not one friend of mine that has a podcast. So this wasn't influenced by anybody else. Pressure washing and window cleaning. When I prayed about it, like I wanted to start a business. Nobody in my circle was doing that. Yeah. Like this is me talking to God and figuring things out. You know what I'm saying? Like rap, and when I was pursuing acting for a little bit, like that was more the outside world influencing that. And that's why I really feel like I wasn't really happy doing that.
Yeah. You were good at it, but you're like, I'm not happy at it.
So I'm like, it's not something like I always knew I wanted to talk and I wanted to give off, energy to the world, and wanted to bring fly people on the pod to give off their experiences, struggles and triumphs and all that stuff. But you can't, I'm trying to keep this as PG as possible. You can't be a bitch ass, man. Like you got to man up, woman up.
Yes, sir.
And keep moving forward. Like, yeah, everybody has a fucked up story, man. You know, there's people that don't, but it is what it is. What
Congratulations, you won.
Like,
you got the most fucked up story.
And yes, like, cause you.
How you feel now?
So perfect example. You talked about how when you're around your homeboys, you want to talk about business. You want to talk about things that really move the needle forward. I don't want to like, and I have this conversation with one of my boys, JP. Shout out to JP. I don't want to talk about no nonsense. Yep. I don't want to talk about gossip.
Nope.
I want to talk about, even before we jumped on, you were asking me about the mic. Yes. Dog, call me anytime. I'll pass the plug. You know, whatever information I have to give. That like growth. You know, you read a dope book, hit me up like, yo, you got to read this book. Type of individual I am is I like to be giving when I can, and I'll be like, yo, Mike, you got to read this book. Matter of fact, Mike, what's your address? I'm sending you this book. You got to read it. When you're done, hit me up. Don't talk to me until you read this book. So that's the type of friendship that I want around me.
Yep.
Just that positivity, that light. And I think that the things you mentioned are awesome, man. And thank you for coming out again, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you for inviting me, bro. Bro, real talk. You're family for life. Don't ever forget that.
Word up, man. And that's what I'm saying. When you say you love books, like, I'm a big fan of 50 Cent. I got both of 50 Cent's books right there.
No.
Yeah. And you let me know. I'll send it your way, bro.
Bro.
I'm not saying you said that, so don't, just because I say things sometimes and I feel like I'm too rough. I never let my books out. But I'll buy you the book and I'll send it your way. I swear to God. Like any of those, you let me know. I'll send it your way, kid. Because like I'm big into books and I love talking about books.
Bro, love books. Like personal development, like nonfiction books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't do too good with like the books about stories. But like personal development, like my boy JP again, like he's a cool cat. I'll introduce you to him. He does Airbnb back in Jersey.
Oh, yeah, I gotta meet JP.
Ever since we met, maybe like 16 years ago, he's like, yo, player. That's what we call each other, players. He's like, yo, player, you gotta read this book, The Alchemist. I'm like, come on with your books, man. Like, who read books? Like, I'm like, I don't read no books. But I think the first and only book I ever read before that was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But yeah, books are crack, bro. And like the 50 Cent books, like I read it like in 2 days. Like the first one took me a couple days. The second one, like nonstop.
50 Cent inspiring, bro.
Yeah, and that's the thing about being from the hood is I'm with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, we were just talking about BMF and all that.
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm with it. I love all that stuff.
I love
like,
that,
obviously, I don't want to get robbed. I don't want to get into but I just love that there's a street code. You know, there's rules. There's a certain way you got to carry yourself. If you're not about that life, don't pretend to be like you're from that life. And just 50 Cent's way that, you know, he's a hustler. He's from nothing.
Yeah.
And created everything that he created.
Bro.
And people still can't play with him. But he'll tell you, he's like, I don't have a problem with a problem. Like, who says that?
That's
like,
a bar.
Like, who says like? He's like, he says, you got you want a problem? No problem. Bro, I'm a salesman to the death. Like, you got a problem? Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about
Let's talk about it, because I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I don't want no problems, but I like peace.
Yeah.
I like being able to walk in rooms
Yep.
and be completely at peace. But Mike, there was something I saw on social that you posted, and for the people that don't know, you do sermons here and there, right?
Yep.
And you're a huge man of faith.
More so like a speaker, yeah.
But we've spoken in the past, and like another thing, and I'm not gonna say pause because this is real talk, that I love about the individual that you are is that you're big into God.
Yes.
And tattoos and all, history and all, like the man you are today, like that's something that is so powerful that you speak on it. And that's something that, like, you know how you were talking about like being in front of the camera, being nervous. I used to be afraid of talk about God because I feel like people would judge me, like, oh, you know, brother Anthony, this, that, and the third. Like my mom does that to me. I ignore it now, but I'm like, I'm never gonna be afraid to talk about God anywhere, bro.
I'm telling you, bro.
Anywhere. And that's something that I admire in people, especially like yourself, that you've spoken about. Like we've spoken about upbringing, realist, like all these different things, and we've had previous conversations where it got real talk, and you constantly went back to talking about God. So, who is God to you, right? Like the impact, and please let us know that little thing, that little message that you gave out that day.
Man, God to me, man, is just like, that's who I lean on whenever, you know what I mean? And I shouldn't lean on him when things get bad. I should, because there's also times where, you know, every time we close on the home, you know, I always say, you know, glory to the big guy upstairs, you know what I mean? Glory to the Most High, you know what I mean? And I let that be known on my social media and all that, you know what I mean? If you don't want to work with me because I say that, then completely fine, you know what I mean? I'm gonna still love you, you know what I mean? I love everybody.
Yeah.
And that's the man that I lean on whenever, you know what I mean, I need him, you know what I mean? Even whenever I don't need him, I thank him, you know what I mean? Every single day, you know what I mean? And you're the same way.
Yep.
I see that, you know, you say you do a prayer with the kids before y'all eat dinner and, you know, bed, and in the mornings, you and your wife and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But everything that I try to, you know, everything that I go through in life, I notice that it's in the Bible. So like I always bring something up. Like whenever people want to borrow loans and stuff like that, whenever people want to, you know, take out credit cards, I'll, you know, always say like, you know, the borrower is a slave to the lender. That's you know, in Proverbs. And there's also a thing, like, what was it? I think it's Proverbs, I want to say 18:4 or 24. It says that, you know, your wealth will bring many friends, but like when you don't have nothing, you know what I mean, you're gonna be all alone. Basically, is what it's saying. And you know, Proverbs was written by the wisest man on earth, King Solomon, which was, you know, King David's son. And the thing that really like blows my mind about King Solomon is like God asked this man, ask me for anything. You know what I mean? He was so anointed. God was like, you know what? Ask me for anything. And whenever, you know, God asked him that, he was like, you know, usually somebody in this day and age will say, give me $1 million or give me fame. You know what I mean? This man said, I want wisdom, Lord. And then because God was so pleased that he asked for that, he blessed him with the money. You know what I mean? He blessed him with the fame. Wisest man on earth, right? Before Jesus. And God told him, like, there will be nobody before or after you that will be wiser than you. So, you know, I love the book of Proverbs. There's 31 Proverbs, and
You taught me that, by the way.
yeah,
I didn't know that. There's 31.
Yeah, chapters, and you can read a proverb every day, bro.
Yeah, so this is the perfect month for you to do that because it's 31 days.
Yep.
So, and that's something I wanted to do, Mike, and you just reminded me because today's number 3.
Yeah.
So you could catch up.
Proverbs 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can read 1, 2, 3 right now, and then from there, just
that's powerful, man.
Yeah.
Take note of that. That's powerful. I've read a couple of books in the Bible, and I would say the Bible is the best book I've ever read.
Bro,
like, you know, I haven't read the whole thing.
There's bars in there,
but there
bro.
is, man. Like, I have my Bible in there, and you know, you can fake the funk with anybody. You can't fake the funk with yourself or with God.
Yep.
So I go through these little seasons in my life where I'll lock in on the Bible, but like heavy. Like I'll soak it up, and then I put it down. But my belief in God is always there. My prayers. I think me and you spoke how like sometimes we'll be driving in the car and we'll just be talking to God, like a whole conversation. And I think it's so important for all people to speak to God and, you know, have those conversations where you got to be thankful for it all. You know, like the struggle, the ups and downs, the good thing, the bad thing. Bro. Like like we said before, like we all have a story. We all had like,
Yeah.
difficulties in life, and to me is like I've gone through what I've gone through. There's scars and wounds that I've had through the years, but I'm still thankful, bro, to get another
Do it
opportunity every
all,
day
bro.
you know what I mean? Like I
You
get to
wake
enjoy
up in
my
the morning.
kids, wake up, and life is
Like,
beautiful, man. Life is such a beautiful thing, and just to be able to be around.
you know what? Because I've been going through a lot lately for the past 2 years now. Yeah, about 2 years and a half actually. I've been going through a lot, and like one of my favorite verse ever, Jeremiah 29:11. Jesus says, "You do not know what I'm doing now, but later you will understand." And like, bro,
Amen.
I sleep on that, bro. I'm like, dang God, why I be going through this? But then like Jeremiah 29:11, you don't understand why. You don't know why you going through this right now, but later you'll understand. And I know why I'm up every night at 10, waking up at 3 a.m. and like feeling the way I be feeling and going through what I'm going through, all the pain, the crying and stuff like that. And it's not about me just trying to like dump the whole load on the cow right now with that story that I told you. It's like me just, because bro, I'm never going to be in competition with somebody who's had a tougher life than me. You know what I mean?
It's not
like,
about that.
Congratulations, bro. You won. You got the tougher life. You know what I mean? You like how
it
much
ain't about that.
how much better do you feel whenever like seriously, you can cry about your life and cry about all this stuff you've been through, but like, bro, if somebody was to say congratulations, you know what, you had the toughest life out here, you got it.
Yeah.
How much better do you feel now?
Yeah,
like,
it'll make a difference. See, what's dope is sharing stories like, yo, there was times we didn't have no steak, meat, chicken in the fridge. So my mom used to make rice and fried eggs.
Yeah.
And it was the bomb. It was the bomb.
You know what I mean?
You know, and those are like things you could not brag about, but like, it's
but
like, damn.
It's now I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with, like telling your story. You know what I mean? Tell your story. You know what I mean?
But the pity where you're looking like, yo, I had it hard, dog.
You won't,
and then you hit them with like, you let me hold some. You got $20, bro. Like, I've had it rough. Nah, you
like,
better get
up,
out
bro?
my face,
you
bro.
know what
like,
I mean?
That's one thing, bro. Like, my boy JP told me one time years ago during, like, I went through a heartbreak, and he's like, don't feel bad for yourself because nobody else does.
80% don't care and 20% glad it's you. Believe that. Believe that. 80% don't care and 20% glad it's you. Remember that. Whenever you try telling somebody your story, 80% don't care and 20% glad it's you.
Damn, bro, that hit different. I don't know why it hit. Like, I've never heard that before, but
that's Les Brown.
It makes you think about
Brown.
like when you confide in somebody, like, oh really?
80% don't care, bro.
And I'll tell you, I'm one dude that like have a hard time concentrating and paying attention, all this stuff. I have a great heart, and I find a lot of times, like recently, like I'm justifying the person that I am. I'm like, I may come off cold and stuff like that. It's just the way the world has molded me.
Yeah.
But I care, bro. I care about a lot of people.
You got a big heart, bro.
I do, and that's the one thing, Mike. And I know we had this conversation before. Like, the most beautiful thing in life, one of the things, is coming to that realization where you can look in the mirror and know exactly who you're looking at and who you are. You know, like, and you know that time came for me when I turned 30. It took a little while for me. You know, it's different for everybody. Some people are 18, full blown. They know. For me, it was 30. It took for me to leave New York City. I left New York City as a boy and went back as a man. Like, I love that saying.
You go and visit and you're like,
and I go back there as a man, bro. And it's such a beautiful feeling just to know who I am.
I salute to you for that, bro.
And that's why, like, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I don't gotta justify myself to anybody. Like, the Lord knows who I am. I know who I am. My wife knows the type of man that she has. That's it.
Yeah, bro.
And that's one thing I'll say like this. most important is learn. Get to know God.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
for anybody out there, I already know you're there.
Yeah,
You speak on him like.
I'm telling you, when you hear his voice, you'll really like, and I'm pretty sure you heard his voice too. Like when you hear that voice and it like scares you, that's how you know. You know what I mean? But like with the names that we were about to get into, well, with the
Please, the story.
the little story
Yes,
that I did. So a very successful man taught me this. Very successful man. I don't want to say no names right now. I don't even know if he'll want me to say his name, but it's somebody that I really hold like real close to my heart. And he taught me. One day we were in the office, and he's like, "All right, I want you guys to take a paper." Gave us a clean sheet of paper. He folded long ways, and then he folded sideways so that it made 4 squares. And when it made the 4 squares, he said, "Okay, now I want you to rip these squares apart so that it can be like 4 individual squares." And he said, "From there, what I want you to do is I want you to write down the most important people in your life on every single paper. Now, these people can't be, your cousin or your family, or, it has to be like a specific name on each paper. 4 people." And I'm like, dang, there's a lot of people that I love in my life. I'm like, who am I going to put it? But then I'm like, all right, 4 most important people. Put everybody down, you know what I mean? And he says, "Okay, everybody got their 4 people written down?" "Yes." "Okay, cool. I want you to take one of them. I want you to crumble it up, and I want you to throw it away." I'm like, okay, cool. Take one. Throw it away. I took away the person out of those 4. I'm like,
you prioritize.
I'll be okay. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be okay. You know what I mean? Threw them away. And then he said, "All right, I want you to take another one, and I want you to throw it away." I'm like, okay, cool. Where this guy going at with this? So now I have 2 in my hand, and I'll say it right now. My mom was one of them, and he said, "Okay, I want you to take another one, and I want you to throw it away. And these are the most 2 important people in my life." And I'm like, and I like crumbled that person up and I threw it away. And he said, "Okay, so I bet ain't none of y'all write your own name on any of those papers." And bro, when I say my heart dropped to my ass, no diddy. Well, my heart dropped so, like, I will never forget that. I will never forget that exercise, not a day in my life, bro, because he told me, he said, "You will never give any of those people, those 4 most important people in your life, you will never give any of those people the best version of yourself if you don't never put yourself first." And like, I've learned to tell my mama, "Look, Mom, I can't do this for you right now, but I'm working on something. I got you." You know what I mean? Yeah. I had to tell like my brothers. I had to tell like people that I really love, those 4 people. You know what I mean? I had to tell people that I really love, like, "Look, I can't do this for y'all right now, but I'm working on something. I'm working on myself, and I'm, you know what I mean? Just let me do me. Let me focus on myself." And once I focus, but I'm telling you, like, since that exercise, I've always been like that. Like, they might think I'm selfish. They might think I'm just looking out for myself. I'm not, bro. Essentially, I'm looking out for
us.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because if I'm good, then y'all good. If I'm not good, then we're not good. I mean, y'all can be doing y'all own thing, but I'm headed somewhere. How the hell I'm supposed to be headed to where I want to go if I'm only putting 90% into it? 90% is a high percentage. You know what I mean? Out of 100. But if I'm not putting a whole 100% there, how in the heck am I supposed to get there, bro?
Facts.
You know what I mean? So I real deal had to like put my head down and be like, okay, let me focus on let me put a whole 100 into what I'm doing right now. Because I know that once I get there, bro, it's raps. Like, we're gonna be, Mom, you good. You know what I mean? My brothers, my grandma, granddad, you know what I mean? Like, cousins, aunties, uncles, you know what I mean? My dad, you know what I mean? I love my dad. Like, I got you, we good, you know what I mean? Just let me. And my dad even told me, like, because he don't really call me that much, and sometimes I feel discouraged because I'm like, dang, why he don't call me? But he know, like he told me the other day, this was actually on Christmas. He was like, yeah, boy, I tried calling you the other day, but I was like, nah, I'm not gonna call him. I know you be busy and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I know you working on you know what I mean?
On yourself, yeah.
And I appreciate it, pops. But you know, I at the same time, I think like, dang, I do be wanting to talk to my dad sometimes and stuff like that.
Yo, Mike, I'm gonna tell you something, bro. And I know this is off topic. Talk to your old man, bro. Yeah. Make that time, sacrifice that time, whatever. Yo, even if it's a quick 5-10 minute call, be like, yo, what's up? What you doing?
Yeah.
Like, so I didn't have my dad. He was a shitty dude. It is what it is. But my step pops, who came around my life around when I was 12, 13 years old, he didn't actually become part of my mom's life until I was like 19.
Yeah.
And I'll say the story for a different time. I don't want to make this longer than it is,
bro.
right?
Do what you gotta do, man.
But we became real close, like up until his passing, like real close. Like I spoke to him 2 days before he passed, and he would always call me and bust my chops. He loved my kids, bro. Like he was like, they're not my blood, but they're mine. They're my grandkids. He would call me, how's Emma, how's Anthony? Like, you know, I'm setting something for them. But Dan, you don't need to do that. And I'm not saying that to be prideful, because even when I didn't have it, he would send something and I would still say like, yo, you don't gotta do that. Yeah. He's like, I'm not doing it for you. It's almost like mind your business. Like, you're doing this for the kids. He would even send me and the wife some money for Christmas. Like, I'm like, Danny, you don't have to do it. Like, we're doing okay. He's like, I don't care. He's like, I just want to know I send you something so you could do whatever you want with it. He used to call me. He's like, why don't you call me? I wish I could pick up the phone right now in the middle of this podcast and call him and just say what's up. Just say what's up. And because, like, I don't know what the relationship is like with you and your dad, right? But like, we fuck up sometimes in life when we don't value or really like just see who loves us, you know?
Yeah, bro.
And even if it's the other way around where you love them, man. Like, I'm not trying to give you a speech, Mike. That's not my purpose here. But like,
let me learn something.
I just, you know, same thing with people that have grandmothers and stuff like that. Like, yo, call them, bro. Like, I wish, like I said, because me and him would have conversations about everything and anything. Like, even nasty grown folks stuff. Where he's like, you know, when you get a girl, you make sure she remembers your name, right? Like, he would tell me all that. And he's like, and never do it in your car. This is the type of stuff my stepdad would tell you. Never do it in your car because it messes up your car. You know how many cars I had that were messed up? This is the type of thing that gets my eyes a little teary because I think about how awesome he was and, like, how I wish, like, you know, I could pick up the phone and be like, yo, what up? And, you know, and just shoot the shit with him talk to me about my kids, tell me stories. He was a retired police officer, and just, I don't really have nobody that I could pick up the phone and just
father figure,
get some manly advice. And that's why I like, you know, I think we said it last time too, like, I like being around, and I hate to say pause, but like men, dog, like people that actually got shit going on in their lives that you could talk about, you could talk about family. Like, we got some real stuff going on. Yeah, bro. And I value relationships like that, and that's why I think he had such an impact on me, and like why I say, like, reach out to your own man. Again, I don't know your relationship, but hit him up, bro. You see how he said, or you said, like, I wish he would call me more. Call him. Yeah,
and that really touched home, bro, because my father, you know, he's a good dude and all that, but sometimes I still hold a little bit of grudges because, you know what I'm saying, he was there, but he wasn't you know what I mean, he kind of wasn't there, you know what I mean. my mom would just drop us off at his house whenever she got tired of us.
Yeah.
Type of deal.
I mean, it's 6 of you,
But,
bro.
yeah.
So I'm done with you for the weekend.
Type of deal,
Yeah.
And that really touched home because like sometimes I do think like, dang, maybe I do need to spend more time with my pops because he valued. Back then, I didn't really feel like, and he's probably gonna see this, and he's probably gonna be like, "Dang, why you said that on there?" But like back then, I didn't really think that he valued us as much as I would expect. I feel like now, like when I was in high school, he was in like middle school, he was like coming to my football games and stuff like that. Team Nafield, he used to always talk about Team Nafield and all that, and like
How old is your pops?
he's 47, 46.
So this is not we're not making excuses for nobody.
Yeah.
But we not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think I shared something with you about my dad when I said that he ain't shit, and I could say that freely.
Yeah.
He said that I was 15 years old, and he was like, "I come first, second, and third. Everybody else comes after." And even though I knew he wasn't shit after that, I respected him. Like it is what it is.
That's a full reload though, coming from your dad.
I was just like, all right. But the thing is, like, my interactions with him where I could really say like I was around him to like try to soak up game was maybe like 3 or 4 times in my whole life. He passed away 2020. Yeah, right in the beginning. I think the 5th he'll have passed away 6-7 years ago. And I was there when he was in the hospital, and when I walked into the room, he shed a tear. He had a tube in his mouth, and he started crying when he saw me. He grabbed my hand. And then, I've never said this story before, and not that it's anything, but like, he grabbed my hand, and I was like, I'm here, Dad. And then he was like, he pushed me off. That's what he did. He went like this. He's like, but he started crying, dog. That's my last image of him being coherent, because after that, he passed away. So, I just knew, Mike, like when I have my kids, when I see my son, I'm like, you always going to have your dad by your side. And I'm like, I feel strongly about that. I'm like, you always. I'll be right here. I got arthritis and lupus. If I got a limp, I fucking drag myself to be there for you. You got
right.
You got a soldier on your side that will do anything for you and my daughter.
That's real, bro.
But cherish those, man. I know I sound like J. Cole right now. Cherish those that you love, man. And you set the tone, man. Yeah. You're already at an age where you're a man. We not perfect, man. We fuck up. Players mess up, man.
Yeah.
But
yeah, players do mess up.
Is it and just to lighten up the mood right now, because I know we got a little deep there.
Yeah.
Anything you want to tell the people, do give them your handle so they can reach out to you with any real estate advice that they may need, even if people in Central Florida or throughout Florida need some assistance.
For sure, yeah. First, I want to let you guys know, whatever you go through in life, and I want to, like, if you take anything from this podcast, take this with you. Whatever you go through in life, take full responsibility. Take full responsibility of whatever position you're in. Whether you're going through heartbreaks, you lost your job, you having troubles with family problems, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Don't blame anybody but yourself. You know what I mean? And like I told you guys, I had that long list of everybody that I blamed, and on that list wasn't my name. So, seriously, start to put yourself first, you know what I mean? And understand that the responsibility is on you. Everything you go through is on you. But with that being said, you can always find me. Office located downtown Claremont, 720 West Montrose Street, Claremont, Florida, 34711. Ask for Iron Mike Nafield, Iron Mike, or ask for the dude that knock out houses and not people. For shizzle with zizzle. But yeah, man. just talk to me. You know what I mean? I might seem intimidating whenever you first meet me, but you know what I mean, off of appearance. But once you actually start talking to me, I'm telling you, you would not. What's the word I'm looking for? You would not be mad, or you.
Yeah, you will not regret it.
You would not regret.
And
you know what I
the
mean?
thing about it is too is like, you know, I know in the beginning I said judge a book by its front cover, but read a couple pages.
Like seriously.
You know what I'm saying? Read a couple pages.
Read a couple pages.
You'll be surprised how, you know, intelligent this man is, and patient.
Oh.
You know, like that's one thing I'll say, Mike, and not to. I know we were wrapping this up, but like that's one thing that I feel like people lack nowadays is the patience just to have a conversation. Even myself, I'm not a patient man, but you have that, and you carry yourself well. So I co-sign, bro, that anybody and everybody should use you, and you know, Tony and Jalen. Like, I feel like, and it's true though, the most interaction I've had is with you. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you, man, for real. What about your Instagram? Where can people follow you at?
Oh, follow me at Be Great Nafield on Instagram, Mike Nafield on Facebook, TikTok, Be Great Nafield. Yeah.
What's the handle for the real estate?
Real estate.
Is we move next.
We move next month.com. That's where you can find like the main. That's where you find the Godfather, and then you're gonna find me through the Godfather. So yeah, man. Yeah, just catch. Hey, when you see them lineage group signs out, you know what I mean, at your neighbor's door, you know what I mean. Just know that's the real deal.
Yeah,
that's the real deal.
This information that Mike just gave, use it. If you're not sure of which route to go, what to do, whether to sell, buy, any of that stuff, reach out. Just ask a question.
Yeah.
They're readily accessible. They got the right players to get involved in situations to make your things flow smoothly. This is not a paid ad, but I'm giving you my experience of how awesome it was and how they kept my family in mind, and we didn't skip a beat.
Yeah.
And that's most important.
Seriously, thank you for that, bro, because we do it for the people. Yeah, man. But you can also, if you want to email me, ironmikerealtor@gmail.com. And if you want to call me, don't call me asking, trying to take, I don't want to take you out on a date yet, mama. Yeah, I got to get to know you.
You got to go for a walk or something.
I'm kidding. But 407-780-2311 is my work phone number, and you can reach me there.
Yeah, and don't have your lady look at his Instagram because he be posting stuff on the gym making people look bad with their dad bods. I'm like, look, babe. I'm like, wait, hold up. Mike's over here showing his abs. Chill out. Yo, Mike, appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you
for being on the pod.
Yes, sir. Catch y'all on the next one.